Hello, parents. We're back here with our Your Teenager Is Not Crazy book and looking at chapters 9 and 10. And so, getting about a third of the way through the book. And again, I hope this is a helpful resource. If you haven't gotten the book, it's about a $10 purchase off of Amazon and just a great way to become better as a parent as you work with these mysteries that the Lord has provided us with, these teenagers, preteens, maybe living in your household. As we look at chapter 9, a few things stand out, and I really like the research that they provide. This is helpful. I've heard this before, but 93% of communication is nonverbal. Now, I'm not a statistician. I don't do research in great lengths, and I don't have a research company, and I'm not sure how they come to a conclusion of 93%. But you think of your tone, body language, eye contact, all those different things. I know I grew up in a house that kind of said two things. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And then I don't like your tone, young man, or whatever that may be. Maybe you had that growing up as well. And so often our students are not, our children, these youth are not going to be able to always understand and decipher our tone. They show the statistics that they showed some images to adults and teenagers. Adults were able to properly decipher the emotion 100% of the time. Youth did it 50% of the time. And so a lot of times they may not fully understand unless you tell them. They're not going to understand inference all the time. One of the best ways is just to calmly walk up, look them in the eye, and walk them through. This is what I'm expecting you to do. Do you understand this? And occasionally I've done that with my kids, and it's actually been helpful because they've said, no, I haven't understood. And I've seen this on mission trips too, where you have a youth do something that they've never done before. Maybe that's painting, using a power tools, raking, whatever that might be. And a lot of times it's taken very just specifically clear, step-by-step instructions, or do these couple things, then come back, and then we'll worry about steps 3 and 4 or whatever. And that's a great way to try to communicate more clearly and effectively. I think it's easy to forget how much life experience we have and how much little experience they have. And if anything, when it comes to maybe some of the soft skills in life, when I talk to business leaders, a lot of the soft skills are not there. Responsible, showing up on time, working hard, those types of things, being friendly, those types of things. And when it comes to communication and chores and things around the house and understanding, I think our teenagers do not always understand it. We need to calmly explain and show them those types of things. And I like the helpful tips that they give in the chapter. The one that stands out the most is Rise Above. The book is, I believe, talked about this before, but the teenage brain is designed at the level to battle, to fight, fight or flight type mentality. And so if you're wanting to go toe to toe with your child, even though you think you're older, wiser, smarter, which you are, it's not. Their brain is ready to go toe to toe with you. And as you'll see, they'll burn a bridge. They'll say whatever they have to say to come out on top. And so that's what you don't want to do, is try to escalate the problem and or just throw a bunch of gasoline on the fire, because it's only going to make things blow up and be more significant. Ultimately, this chapter really talks about the benediction as we close worship services, about the benediction of the Lord's face shining upon us. And I like the aspect that it talks about how we reflect Christ in our lives back onto our children. And so, do I have the face of God? No, absolutely not. Do you? I don't think so either. But we have the opportunity at times to show God's mercy, God's grace, to reflect how Christ cares and loves for us to our children. Chapter 10, a little similar, a little different, kind of post-communication, talks about forgiveness. And what a chapter. I don't know what your life has been, and I don't know if you've had one of these significant moments. I've had one that I can think of real specifically where I just really didn't want to forgive the person. I couldn't believe what they did, why they did it, when they did it, all those types of things. There seemed to be no remorse. Haven't really talked to this person since the event happened. Was in a very close relationship with this person prior, and I asked questions like, how does a person sleep at night? And what I had to do with that situation is I had to let it go. I had to forgive. And with our children, it's important to model God's grace and forgiveness. Now, That being said, I grew up in a family, watched a lot of Full House growing up. Don't know if you're familiar with that show, but my parents didn't always like how every time something, any drama happened, which was pretty much every episode that they tried to resolve in the 30 minutes, was that the parent would then, or whoever would immediately, one of the three brothers, the uncles, would immediately apologize. And I'm not saying we need to apologize for every single thing in every single moment. I think it takes two to tango, and it takes two people to be involved in a relationship. And so I think it can be a process. And but I like that it brings out the fact that it's not so much about forgiveness, which is a strong part of it. Don't get me wrong, but it's really about like the attitude and the posture. Are you just trying to be right for the sake of being right, to prove to your child that you're smart or no? That's not the approach to take. Show the grace of God, provide forgiveness. One of the songs that I really like is by a Christian artist named Chris August, and it's called 7 times 77 or 7 times 7, and it's talking about Scripture when disciples ask how many times Jesus should we forgive somebody, and 7 times, and no, it's 77 times 7, and it's more the point that we should always seek to forgive. But that song is about his childhood, and Chris August, I think, divorced family and some different things that happened in his life that really struggled and really held him back in his faith. And so you may want to check that song out. Again, Chris August, 77 times 7, or flip that around. Ultimately, though, because Christ has forgiven us, we're able to forgive others, especially our children, to show the grace of God. And I don't know about you, but I want a child that's going to keep short accounts on things, that's going to be quick to forgive, not hold grudges, not burn bridges, not create enemies, but seek to forgive, especially in the moments when it's hard to forgive, because that's what's so powerful about forgiveness. It's easy to forgive when the stakes are low, but when something significant has happened, and the relationship may never come back around. I totally get the aspect too that when you forgive somebody, sometimes you get that impression that you're saying what they did is okay, and that doesn't have to be the case. You can separate those. Say, you know what, I forgive you. Don't agree with what you did. I'm very hurt by what you did. Things have changed because of what you did, but that you can forgive. And ultimately, though, the chapter ends by talking about the conflict and stress that it puts. Conflict with your child puts a lot of stress and a major stress for your child. And so really seek to resolve conflict. And so maybe there's something going on this week with your child, or maybe there's something from 6 months ago that was significant or even longer, where you need to resolve that with your child. Get on the same page, ask for forgiveness, talk about maybe how your side of it and what you saw as well. Use a lot of I statements and try to resolve that conflict. I hope chapters 9 and 10 are helpful for you as you continue to parent your child and grow and mature as a godly parent. Blessings on your week, and we'll see you next time.